What's going on, gamers? We got a video here by the gamer 2323. Just ran to his page, never seen it before. And his title is Buying a PlayStation 5 Still Worth It in 2026. This is going to be interesting. Well, that's pretty easy, of course. You can get all of Xbox games. You pretty much have almost the same library as PC, except like some of the shovel world difference. You got Sony's money had games, and you have PlayStation exclusives, and you have the PC market crashing so hard that we all don't like that it makes the PlayStation 5 just look like a saint. And the PS5 Pro too, for the deal that you're getting. Even the Steam machine coming out, how ridiculous that price is going to be. And then when you see the specifications of that, just neutrally, without thinking about Steam or PlayStation, you see the specifications of a PS5 Pro, and you're like, if I was building a PC, I'm going to choose those specs for $750 over those specs. But when you add in the other stuff, obviously, I love Steam and stuff, but that's not what I mean. This is not beating down the Steam machine, but it's more about like price per specifications rather than price per identity and what you're attached to. Because we have all different ways of looking at that. No matter what, the Pro is a really good deal right now compared to everything else with this DRAM hell that's going on. SSDs going up, GPU prices going up. We know that, and we have not seen the worst of it. No, of course not. So it's going to be interesting to see what he says. That's kind of like my take right off the bat, so that we can understand that, yeah, of course it is, because you have so much value there still, and you can carry that over to the PS6. And then when you think about how high the diminishing returns are getting, it's getting to that point now of why do I want to wait anymore? Because what's going to be the difference? You want me to watch a Digital Foundry video and zoom in and say, oh, I see the difference. It's like, it doesn't matter anymore. After that point, definitely when the PS6 launches, it's just like, man, all that stuff is over with. All right, y'all, let's go.
Buying a PlayStation 5. Still worth it in 2026. Is it still worth it, my brothers and sisters? I'm asking myself that damn question. Because I ain't gonna lie, for the past year and a half, my PlayStation 5 has been becoming a dust collector. Like, I still have my PlayStation 5. I still love my PlayStation 5. I don't plan on getting rid of my PlayStation 5. At least not yet, but yeah, I mean, let's be honest, as these past few years has passed, there has been less and less of a real reason to go out and buy a PlayStation 5 or especially buy an Xbox. I know there's some of my viewers that still have not, made the jump to next gen. And honestly, I can't really blame y'all. I can't really blame y'all. Hopefully this vid can help you, decide if you still want to get a PlayStation 5 going into 2026. So like I said, we all know that these consoles have lost a lot of their appeal over the years. Xbox especially pretty much damn near has no appeal no more, to where nobody really wants an Xbox no more because of the decisions and moves that Microsoft has been making with the Xbox these past few years. But PlayStation 5 has also lost some of its appeal just at a slower rate. Right now, if you want a PlayStation 5, you can get the PS5 Pro for $750. After the price increase, you could get a PS5 Slim for $550, or you could get the Slim digital edition for $500. Now, based off of which
Maybe having sales on that too a lot, but here's the thing, like, he's not saying anything about the difference of prices compared to how ridiculous the PC market is now. And that, I'm sorry, but PlayStation is still very attractive. That's why it was still selling when it went on sale big time. There's a lot still to look forward to. Sony's not in that position that they were last year at the beginning of the year, with also the PSSR issues and cancels. That's all over with. They got their face back, like, on straight, and they're back to the PlayStation that we know, giving the good deals. Even among all that crisis, they still did it. So I don't agree with that, because they still have a lot to look forward to. You got Neo 3 around the corner. You got Resident Evil Requiem being 4K 60 on the Pro. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a huge thing there. You got Sorrows coming. You got GTA 6 exclusive power coming. It's only going to be on the PlayStation. Saying that right now, when that's going to be the premium place to look for GTA 6, makes absolutely no sense. It's going to sell like hotcakes. They got a Portal OLED going around the corner. You know what I mean? They got Wolverine. They got Intergalactic. They got a lot of other games coming. A lot of other money hats you don't know about. Constantly getting that going. Whereas the PC market is in hell. And that's still a good entry for people. Like they want to spend $400 to play GTA 6 for digital only. They don't care because it might have a digital only launch. So I can't say that it is losing that slow time. No, the traction's only going to gain even more. And because like where else you going to get GTA 6? You're going to have the biggest launch of all time, which is going to have the marketing rights and futures on its home. And that's in the PlayStation realm. As much as people want to say, and he could probably bring up stuff coming to PC too, but it's like, that doesn't really matter because it doesn't really hurt Sony because they've built their brand and market so well and their base is not going anywhere because people are not leaving those digital carryover profiles. It's like nobody's leaving Steam and they're going to get that Steam machine because they want to stay within that ecosystem. The only thing that's getting left is Xbox. And I don't blame people because of Microsoft.
You purchase the optimization for which game you're playing, the performance may vary. That's, you know, another thing that I really have not liked about consoles these past few generations. Really, we get promised a certain standard of, you know, how games are going to be run on these consoles, and then once we're really in the generation, we have bad frame rate, or, you know, the resolution looks bad. You think of games like Black Myth Wukong, which released, I literally dropped that game because of how bad the performance was. You think of games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, to when that came out, people was,
that game was fine if you played on performance. No, man. Black Myth Wukong in general was not finished. It even had problems on PC. That's not a PlayStation problem. That's a developer Unreal Engine 5 problem. This game was fine. It had little aspects here and there, but it was easily playable. Like I beat the game all the way through. I got 100 hours on the game. I don't think that that's a really good valid point here, talking about performance, when really that issue stems all the way back to a PC issue with NVIDIA, who actually pushed that with AI upscaling and fake frames and having people cheap out and rush stuff out in the market. The whole generation was broken because of that. And PC kept on getting garbage aspects too in the console support industry. It's like, it's not necessarily a PlayStation problem. That's a development greed suit AI problem. It is. Because PlayStation was outperforming Xbox on a lot of things. Sony set their stuff up fine. PlayStation games always optimize well. They look very good. This is not a PlayStation problem. Sorry, no.
The game re-blur because of how blurry the game was
fine.
And again, this is more so on the devs, but if these consoles are just not capable of optimizing these games at, you know, what you would expect in a next-gen console in 2026, then I do also have to, you know, put that on the fault of Sony and Microsoft for kind of delivering these false promises to where these consoles are just not capable of doing.
Where did Sony deliver a false promise? All their games are optimized. Once again, I just explained that's not really a Sony problem. That's a third-party NVIDIA AI goose chase upscaling problem, trying to optimize for the highest game settings so that you can buy the new 4090, 5090, 5080 and spend all that money because they tell you need this, but really the devs are being lazy. But Sony's devs always optimize their games crystal clear. That's not a problem. The only problem Sony had is trying to learn about that new AI upscaling aspect when they tried that PC route with PSSR. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, that was a Sony problem for sure. You know, we criticize the hell out of them for that, but blaming Sony for that, I'm sorry, it's not really a good valid point because usually PlayStation engines are incredible. You see? Because Last of Us ran perfectly on PlayStation, but guess what? When it went to PC, it had some issues. Well, that explains a lot because they're usually used to developing for their console. Now, a game like Rebirth, that game ran fine, and any problems that it had, they fixed it. But for the most part, I played it day one. I had it day one. It was excellent looking, and it was Unreal Engine 4. So, yeah, I mean, that type of stuff is like, it's like, I call it like little nitpicking, but there is no close to relevancy of what's wrong with Xbox compared to PlayStation. Sony fixed most of their problems, so. Okay, so he's doing a promotion.
For 2026, a brother is really focused on bringing in the new year with hard to find clothes that not only fit you good, but you feel confident wearing. Luckily, into for an additional 10% off.
All right.
Exclusives. Exclusive. They are unfortunately becoming less and less of a priority, and they are dying out. They are pretty much dead completely on Xbox. Xbox hasn't had a true exclusive. And I don't even remember the last time. But PlayStation, again, is also starting to follow in the same footsteps. Now, most games that are on PS5, the true big exclusives, you can now play them on PC. You can now play God of War on PC. You can now play Last of Us 2, and that wasn't even from this gen, but you could play Last of Us 2 on PC. You can play freaking Spider-Man on PC. You can play Ratchet and Clank on PC. You can play Returnal on PC. You can play Final Fantasy on PC. Like, PlayStation still will drop quote unquote exclusive, you know, every now and again. We just got Ghost of Yotei late last year. We're looking forward to Saros this year. You have Wolverine coming.
That's what dropped Death Stranding 2, brother. And they got Where Winds Meet as well. They wasn't coming to other consoles. That's the thing with Sony. Like, they'll have their money hats with their exclusives. And yeah, it was rough for a bit, but like I said, they're picking back up now. And yeah, I mean, you can play a lot of those games on Steam, and that's not a bad thing. That's benefiting Sony. Because most people that have a PlayStation play a lot of third-party games. You can't play PlayStation exclusives forever all day. Unless they have like a multiplayer world, like if there was some Last of Us multiplayer or something like that, you know what I mean? Or some game that can repeat a lot. But Sony still has games that never were going to leave there. Like, you're not getting Demon's Souls Remake, you're not getting Gran Turismo. Like, there's a lot of games that are still on there that just don't go to PC. And then they're still going to have exclusives that are consistently coming out yearly. And it's going to consistently be like that you might have to wait on. And some of them just might not happen. And then when you think about, do I want to pay in this PC market today $2,000 to get PS6 settings in the future, maybe more now, how ridiculous this market is, when I can get it a year earlier on the PS6? And what is the difference now? When it gets to that point, I'm telling you, even on the Pro now, when they drop PSSR 2, dude, you really want to pay that much more money and sit there and wait? It's like, no, because I could take a portion of that money and get myself a PS5 Pro, a Switch 2, and have myself a PC and be fine. It's not worth it anymore. That argument is down the drain because of how ridiculous the PC market is right now. Nothing against him. He has some good valid points. I see what he's saying. This is something we've been talking about for a while. But now that stuff is kind of fading off. It's not working anymore. Like, it's like, nah, man, that game is no longer plausible because of how ridiculous this market is. So Sony, to me, like I said, you're still going to get all the Xbox games like PC gets. You're going to have the PlayStation first-party games. They won't be there day and date on PC. Then you're going to have the money hats that may be there day and date on PC. And the diminishing returns are higher than ever. And it's a base that you know you can trust. And the entry point to get in for that resolution is very nice. So it is attractive. And, you know, I love Nintendo, you know what I mean, a lot. And I'm just being honest here because I have a high-end gaming PC as always. I got my PS5 Pro, I got my Switch 2, I had a Series X, and I've had every other console, but it's like, nah, there's no point of having it. I don't see the point.
Year you got Phantom Blade Zero, even though I think that will also be on PC.
It is,
but PlayStation will still like give you something like here and there. Like they'll do just enough to make you think like, well, you know what? Maybe I still do need my PlayStation. But once like,
bro, you gonna get GTA 6 on PC? This is what I'm saying. Like, it's like the biggest game of all time. It's not gonna launch on PC day one. It's going to take a while. Nobody wants an Xbox anymore. Their base is low. You got the highest settings on the PS5 Pro, and PSSR 2 will be out before then, and it'll be fully optimized and ready. And that might be the only place you can play it at 60 frames because it's going to be right there. You're not going to be able to get away from that. Like, it's like, I just need to look at the common whole. You know what I mean? Some people could say, oh, I'm not interested. Yeah, but we're talking about the mass majority of the community wanting to do this. It's like, no matter how you look at it, they have a good position.
Few months past to like a year and a half, these games are also on PC now. Again, people want to act like, oh, it don't matter, it's good that we can play on any platform we want, like this is great now, we can play everywhere. Okay, that's cool, but the flip side to that is it does make the Xbox less attractive, or it makes the PlayStation less attractive if now you can play this game on different platforms. That was really, I don't know why people act like that plays no role at all. It does. That was always one of the biggest reasons why people will go out and buy a console. Yes, they would also go out and get a console because it was just more convenient to play on a console and more easy. But it was also because, well, damn, if I get this console, look at all these exclusives that I could play that's only on this console and it's not on PC and it's not on Xbox or it's not on PlayStation. That was a huge thing. Now that that is kind of out of the equation, it's less attractive, period. This one...
That's good that you noticed that, Gamer, because identity is important. But Sony didn't give up their identity because they're not doing day and date on everything. And they still have their money. As I said, their identity is a hybrid identity. And these guys today, more than ever, are looking at a business standpoint, how expensive stuff is in the industry, and they want to make as much profit as possible. And Sony realizes they can play that hybrid identity game and still sell 100 million consoles because of the way that their market works and the way that they have things going, and how third party is still massive on there. So it's like, I agree 100% what you said. I've been telling people about identity for a long time. You need that strong identity to attract people. Like when you look at the market cap, who's number one right now? Nvidia. And that's only RTX there. That's only DLSS there. Though people want to see that elsewhere as well. Number two, Apple. Apple only. Mac only, iPhone only. I ain't putting my product on your store. You see what I mean? So the top two in the world, you know what I mean? What's after that? Google. Google only. YouTube. You see what I mean? It's like, what identity? Microsoft, Windows, though it used to have its identity, it's kind of in a turmoil right now. But even then, you think about that, it's like if you keep on going down, AMD, identity, RTX. You see what I mean? Nintendo, identity. Disney, identity. Marvel, identity. All the top stuff. It has its identity power, exclusive power. It's not just a cuck everywhere. Like, that's not respected. It's like the world wants that, and it always will put that at the top. And when you don't have that, you're going down. Like, that stuff's important. Think about Steam, right? Steam has its identity with the way things function. That's the identity of the PC gaming industry. So everywhere you look in that spectrum, you'll see that, man, identity is at the top, strong identity.
It didn't really hit me until last year, because prior to last year, I was always a console peasant. I always did the majority of my gaming on a console. Something happened last year to where I end up getting this new place last year, and I get a new gaming PC, a good gaming PC, and I ended up playing a lot more on PC last year than I did on my PS5. The first time I ever played more games on PC than a console. And now when I go back on PlayStation 5 and I'm trying to play a game online, and I'm greeted with, hey, your PS Plus has run out.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Your PS Plus is right now. You like to buy this or like to buy that. This is something that you always heard about, but it really doesn't hit you until you really start playing on PC. The fact that you gotta pay to play games online. And this isn't just a PS5 thing. This is also an Xbox thing, because they got Xbox Live and Switch. You gotta pay to play games online on the freaking Switch. Back in the day to where...
It's very minute. It's like $20 for a year and you get cloud. I mean, that stuff to me is chump change. Bro, you go get some food right now and that's one day. It's like, Nintendo's pretty light. Like, but I get what you're saying. But that argument is also invalid now too, to how expensive PC aspects are. But I get what you're saying, because it's like, you don't need that unless you are playing a game online. Most PlayStation games are single player. Free to play games you don't need online. And then when you do get it, you get games that actually give you value for that if you want to grab those games. So it's not like it's just, here's a paywall to only play online. No, you get a benefit with that. If you're interested in the benefit, though, sometimes people don't want those games. And you can pay a little bit more later on and wait for the time to run down and get some of those games that pop up on the service. And it's like, dude, I just saved myself $80. It's like, so it's a double-edged sword. Like, it's not just negative. But it is annoying that there is a paywall to a certain extent. I get what you're saying. And on PC, there is no paywall. But there's a ridiculous wall to upgrade now. There's a ridiculous wall to where if I wanted to get a nice PC and spend $1,500 to $2,000 because of how ridiculous it is for something compared to what would it cost less now, what is the equivalent of taking even some of that and saying, dude, if I pay for 5 years of PlayStation, it's only like this much and I can get it on sale. But I'm paying for this PC that costs $2,000 something dollars, but the console only cost me $400, and I'm still left with $1,600 or $1,700, $1,800. You see what I mean? When it gets to that point, then it's like, that's not going to work anymore because how much you have left over, bro, you can pay for 20 years online. And it's like, it's not going to work. And you can wait for it to go on sale when you need it. Like that type of stuff. That's what I said. It used to be where that could be a good counter argument because of how ridiculous they've made the PC market. It doesn't work anymore. I don't like it because I don't think that should be happening, but that's just the way things are right now. It sucks.
It's like you had the PS3 online and the PS3 online was free. And then you had Xbox Live and it was a clear distinction of why you're paying to use Xbox Live on Xbox 360 versus seeing PSN on PS3. Like, it was a reason why it was like, you know what, let me just pay the extra because Xbox Live was freaking destroying PSN at that point. You fast forward to today, they recently increased the price of PSN. So now if you want to have PS Plus, the regular PS Plus costs $80 freaking dollars. If you want to use PS Plus Extra, that's $135 a month. I mean, not a month, a year. And if you want PlayStation Plus Premium, that is $160. So you're paying $80 a year essentially just to play games online. Because let's be real, what really, I mean, yeah, they give you like free games like each month on PS Plus, but it's not like such amazing games where it's like, yo, like I feel completely justified in now paying $80 a year or $135 or $160 a year to play games, to play online games on PSN or just to download free games. Like, it gets to,
I don't know, man. There's some months that are pretty good and there's some months that suck. But if you really look at what it would cost to buy that on the store, it's justified for $10. Like, and then like I said, you could get a sale for like 3 months, 6 months and be really good. Like, you think about the month they added just now, you take all those games you added up, that's the price of 1 year. It is justifiable. It just depends on if you're interested in it or not. I could not have an interest in something, but that does not mean that that value is not justified big time over time. When you think about how many games did you add for 12 straight months? Let's have the value of all those games. You're going to get to like $700-800 probably more than that. And you'll say, yeah, man, but they only charged me this for that. So I could not be interested in it, but the value is still justified. The problem is people just don't like the paywall for playing for online. They're like, man, if I just want to only play online, so only don't care about this, can you just charge me like $5 a month or something? You know what I mean? Like maybe something like that. Like, you know, just separate all that. I don't want to be having these games. Just have it to where just online only for games. Like, or maybe they may find a way to do something different. I don't know. But that's the problem there, where it's like, that's where it's a double-edged sword, because it's like, oh, we're charging you for online, but now we're including something to improve upon that, even though you may not like these games. And it's a double-edged sword. But I get what he's trying to say, though, because this has been a thing that's been talked about for quite some time. And Sony has adapted Microsoft's strategy to start charging for online. But their service now is actually, the crazy part is, even more recommended now, since Microsoft has ridiculously put the price of Game Pass up to $30 a month. And it's like, why did you do that? That was your only saving grace. Now you make a PlayStation Plus look a lot better.
Where it's like the thought of paying to play online, in my opinion, especially if you're on PC, it has like changed drastically over just the span of 1 year. Because when you get on PC and you buy a game and you're on Steam or you're using whatever launcher and you just start playing the game online, you don't have to worry about none of that stuff. In my opinion, it's just not worth it. And because they raised the price of this junk without really improving much of anything, it really just has you kind of like, what am I doing here?
That's the thing though, gamer. When you talk about raising the price, bro, look at the price of RAM now. Look at the price of GPUs now. Everything got a raise. That's nothing compared to what we just saw in the PC world and what is coming. It's all bad. So let me know what you guys think about this. This is a good video, gamer. Cheers, brother. Glad to run into you. Wish you well. But all in all, I mean, yeah, PlayStation 5 is still a high premium choice. Like I said, definitely with GTA 6 on the rising and more exclusives now coming and Sony recovering. Thank God, because nobody wants to see them in that state. I would have liked to see Xbox be in a better state, but that's not the case. They're just kind of toast when you think about hardware. Publishing, they'll be fine. Later, y'all. Peace out. Keep gaming no matter what platform you're on.